And good morning. This is the Elliott Wave weekly update for the Dow Jones being recorded on Saturday, August the 9th at 11:20 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. As always, I'm going to start here for the Dow on the cash market and with the most available data that I have and going over just a quick review of the largest picture that I am following and what degree that all starts in. Now, if you're new and you've not watched any of my work before, then I'm just going to go over very quickly. I start with the grand supercycle, and that is on the basis of where R.N. Elliott, who wrote the Elliott wave principle or created it, uh, and he started with a grand supercycle, and he put grand supercycle wave one at the 1929 high and grand supercycle wave two at the 1932 low. So I, of course, am going to start my chart in the same place, and I did the same in the S&P 500. And so based on that, where are we? We're in grand supercycle wave three. What's going to be inside grand supercycle wave three are 5 waves of supercycle degree, of which one and two are complete. So we're in supercycle wave three of grand supercycle wave three. So getting back to supercycle, how many waves or what's going to be consisting of the supercycle wave three is going to be 5 waves of cycle degree, of which we have one and two complete as marked. And then starting in 1949, we began cycle degree three, the cycle third. Now, where are we within that? Within cycle three, there are going to be 5 waves of primary degree, of which we have one, two, three, and four complete. So that puts us in primary wave five of cycle wave three. Now we're going to come right down. I'm going to come down to just before. So within cycle wave five, what will it consist of? 5 waves of intermediate degree, again, which one, two, three, and four are complete. So based on that, I can come down and just go to my 5-year weekly chart. There's intermediate wave three, there's intermediate wave four. Now we're up to October of 2022. Remember, this cycle third wave began in 1949. So we're in the last intermediate degree fifth wave up, which will, when it's complete, it will complete intermediate five, primary five, and cycle wave three. So now what's going to be in this intermediate wave five? There's going to be 5 waves of minor degree. Again, one, two, three, and four are complete. So minor wave four finished in April the 7th of 2025. So that puts us in minor wave five of intermediate wave five of primary wave five of cycle three. So now you see what I'm going for? I'm really demonstrating how close we are to completing all of the structures up to finish a cycle third wave. What comes after that is going to be a cycle fourth wave, and that's going to be, excuse me, a larger correction. So I'm just going to go back out to my monthly maximum for just a moment. Once we finish in minor five, intermediate five, and primary five, that then completes cycle three. And based on that, what we have going on is that Elliott left us a guideline that basically he stated that a fourth wave in motion will find its terminus or its endpoint within the fourth wave of one lesser degree. So I'll be soon counting a cycle degree fourth wave. Where will it ultimately, that cycle four, where will it ultimately find its endpoint within this price territory of the primary fourth? And there it is. I've drawn a box around it. It started at the top of primary three, which was in the year 2000, and it finished after the great financial collapse of 2008, 2009. That put in that primary wave four low. So that is where we would expect the cycle fourth wave to come. Now, let's just put this in another perspective of a time frame. Primary wave 5 began in 2009. It's 2025. So 16 years this wave has been in motion. The actual cycle degree fourth wave, a cycle degree fifth wave, excuse me, cycle degree third wave began in 1949. So if we just take it there, it's 76 years in the making. 76 years. And we could work out all kinds of fib time sequences to how long a cycle fourth wave should unfold. Um, that's a fair question. And so we would immediately start to think that we probably should be correcting for 10 years. And it's going to come in the form of an ABC, A wave down, B wave up, C wave down. And or being that it's a fourth wave, we have 13 different variations. And now we've got them on a very large scale. So it could take some time to unfold, and it's going to consist of mighty rallies, scary drops, declines, and everything in between. So I don't find it so unusual that this would be where we would expect the correction to finish up within this box. I mean, we're trading at 45,000 in the Dow. Yes, it is something to say, do I expect it to come back to 6,500? Well, yeah, it could. But that's just a pure Elliott and Fibonacci look. That's not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm saying, well, what I'm telling you what will happen is I believe a longer term major correction. That I see coming. And everybody wants to build against that. It's like, fine, you can do it if you choose, but this is what the wave pattern is telling me. Now, let's bring it down because we're not done yet. All right, so again, I'm going to come into here. So inside intermediate wave 5, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4, and a minor degree complete minor wave 5 finished in April of this year, April the 7th to be exact. Okay, let's bring it down to the daily. Now we can look inside this start of this fifth wave. This fifth wave, the minor fifth wave, is going to consist of 5 waves of minute degree, of which we have 1, 2, and 3 only. 1, 2, and 3 are complete. And so we're still within a minute fourth wave correction. Again, on the same basis, where would you expect it to come in? Well, there is the previous fourth wave. Over in a minute degree previous, or one lesser degree, is minuet, and there's the box. So we have the potential for the market to drop back to that level, 42,307, 42,307. That would be, and the absolute low brings us in just a little bit lower. But 0.382, which is the most common fourth wave fib retracement, and that tells us 42,307. We have an outside chance. If it gets really going, we can get to 41,456. Now, yeah, that's still going to be a pretty strong drop if you're in there trading every day, or if you've got stock positions that you've put in up here, and you're going to watch them kind of lose some value. But again, it's a correction. What I expect to come after is a minute fifth wave back up, and that one has some pretty large potential. Let's go further. So I'm going to bring it down to the hourly chart. Now, on the hourly chart, we're inside this minute fourth wave. And what we can see so far is that the minuet A wave, so don't forget that the fourth wave is going to consist of an A, a B, and a C. And it's going to be one A down, B up, C down. Well, what it's done so far is done an ABC down to form wave A. So with inside, it's an ABC. It's a 535. Now, actually, it's an ABC, A, B, and C is 5 waves. So with all of this in mind, what does that tell us about the larger structure? Is that more than likely it's going to be a flat. What does that mean? Well, A down, the B up should at least equal it or produce an irregular B wave. And then we have these levels, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And so, and also by forming an ABC up. All right. So that's where we are. We are in the C wave. C waves are always 5 waves. That's one of the rules that Elliott left us. C waves are always 5 waves. Now, it could be a diagonal. It could be a lot of different things, but it will be 5 waves. So again, what do we got going on? Well, maybe we're just getting up to maybe wave one, or we finished wave one of C here. We got a little bit of a wave two here. This is in the cash market. You're going to see it's a little bit different when we go over to the future, just a little. But so we're still working a C wave up. Now, we look at fibs to determine what's going to be the most common level for wave C. The most common level on a fib basis is that wave C will be equal to A, and this is how we measure it. There's wave A, we take it to the bottom of B, now it gives us what C should look like if it moves equal, and that's 44,949. Now, that's pretty close in terms of being a flat, an A, B, because it's going to get up very close to that high for the top of the A wave, or where wave three completed. That is 45,015. This is 29, I know, because it's just a little bit off. It has to be exact, but it actually is that high. It's 45,015. So 44,949 is pretty dang close. So yeah, it could get there, but it'd be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We still have to count 5 waves up before we get there. Does that say this is where it's going to go? No, that would say minimally, yes. But then we start to have our resistance at 45,015, which is the previous high. And now, if we're going to go above that, then it would be considered an irregular B wave, which that's where this overall B wave creates a new high above wave three because of the direction of the fourth wave. Should be fourth wave down, it's going to move to a new high above it, and then do a C wave that'll bring it all the way back down. These are not that uncommon. So here we have those markers and the fib levels that correspond are that the B wave will be 1.236 times the length of the A wave. That puts us at 45,430. And then 1.382, which is actually also pretty common in terms of an irregular B wave, that is 1.382 times the length of the A wave, but in the opposite direction. And that comes in at 45,675 up here. Now, this C wave, to finish the B wave, 100% we've already determined is 44,949. The next most common is 1.618. That one is 45,666. So very close to that 670 level for the 1.382. So if we had to lay odds, this would be the first small cluster that could complete the B wave. This would be the second. And we have in the middle 45,430 and definitely could contain the wave, but we have more fibs that are gathering here versus here. So the first is here, the second is here. And that goes for the C wave and then the overall B wave. So this is the C wave, the overall B wave is similar right there with it. And this is the C wave in the gold color, and in the magenta color or the purple is the total B wave. So they agree right there and right here. So that's where I'm looking for the cash market, for the cash Dow to get to. I think that because I'm looking for the S&P, and which is already has broken above its top for that third wave, so it's already pushing itself into that irregular territory. Now, one other thing that we can consider here is we have an ABC down. This is again the cash market. What's inside this minute fourth wave? An ABC. Could that be it? Well, possibly. It reached 0.236, which is the absolute minimum for a fourth wave. And so we still have 0.382, which is the most common at 42,307. So right now, could this have completed it? Yeah, it could. And if I had to, I could put a 4 under here. And then what this is, 1, 2, and we're getting ready to blast higher. Now, let me just show you, if that's the case, if we're done with minute wave 4, which I don't believe we are, but if that is going to play out, then I've connected what we use. But go back out to the daily. when we're looking for wave five for the how high or how low it can get, we use the length of wave one. So the relationship between 5 and 1 is where that comes in. And so wave one here was very big. And so we got to take we're doing an extension using extension tool, and we take from the bottom of wave one to the top of wave one, and we put it up here, what we would have to declare as the end of that fourth wave, if indeed that ABC finished it. Now, bringing it back down, let's get back to the hourly chart. There it is. Now, let's go up and look. Now, the most common is that wave five will equal wave one. And that, by the way, comes in at 47,527. The second most common is 1.618, which is 50,120. Now, the third most common is 0.618, and that's 45,924. All three of them produce a new high above that minute third wave. That's what's required. So if indeed this fourth wave ends up here, and what's going to tell us is that we go do a run and we break above 1.382. We break above 45,670. We break above it. And we could do that in a third wave. If this is 1, 2, and we're in a third, it definitely could. Right now, we're counting it as A, B, and just looking for a normal 5 on this constraint. And here's our markers. One of them takes us right up to that top, to the top of what we consider a irregular B, and then be looking for a move back down. So again, we still have these down below for the minute 4, but now I've added, just as a precaution, because it's such a clean ABC down. And I'm like, wow, and it reached 0.236. We're feeling a lot of surging in the market, but it's coming from some particular stocks. I get all that, but we have to consider if the wave fours are complete. Again, NASDAQ and the S&P are getting ready to break above the highs for that minute third wave. And you can check that. If you go over and you look, I have also put out the weekly updates for both. I've not included this particular as if wave 4 is complete. I've not done that, but you could do it yourself. You can go wave 1 over to wave 4 if it is, and then see what numbers you get. So I'm leaving it here in the Dow because it just seemed pretty wild that it was a clean ABC down, and then this is 5 up. So I'm thinking, okay, this could get interesting. But right now, I'm looking for the C wave. So let's see what happens. I have my marker. If we go, and I mean, it has to go through it as if it doesn't exist. The power of the market will drive it right through it and on up towards our upper levels. Okay. So that's the actual cash. That's the cash market. If we go back out, just take a look at the daily. We're going to take a look at our moving averages. There's the 200, there's the 78, there's the 30, and the 8 are kind of coupled together. The NASDAQ is all cleaned up to all go up. The S&P is all cleaned up to all go up. So the Dow lagging just a little bit. And so I think that'll change. And we may see that the Dow pick up some speed, and then that 8 go back above the 20, and then the daily would be in alignment to go up. All right, let's go over and take a look at the YM. So the large account, absolutely the same. So I can basically just start here on the daily. There's minor 4, minor 3, minor 4. We're inside minor wave 5, of which the same. We have minute 1, 2, 3 as complete. We're looking for minute wave 4. A little bit different, but yet it's come back down in an ABC. So we got the same thing going here as we did in the cash. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to bring it down to the hourly chart so we can go look inside here. I'm bringing it back to the point where it's like, Here we have A, B, C, and that's minuet wave A of minute wave 4 coming down. And then coming back up seems to be pretty clear as an A, B, and this very bizarre looking pattern here. But it does work to come up, and I'm putting an A on it. So it looks more corrective than it is a clean five-wave structure to me. That's the difference between the YM and the cash. So I'm showing it in the Dow. It may become effective here, but again, we've just seen too many different types of moves, and it's because the future trades longer than it trades in a Globex session, which the cash doesn't, and then it trades for an hour after our regular close, a regular trading close, I guess you could call it, which is 4 o'clock Eastern. It trades for an additional hour, and the future and the cash market does not. So I notate these differences, but I always have to rely pretty much on the future telling me what's going to happen here. And so I'm thinking that, yes, we still have the C wave to do. Now, comparable levels, right? We have 100% where wave C would be equal to wave A, right? Inside this B wave, right? To finish this B wave, the minuet B wave of the minute wave 4. So this is the upswing portion of it. 100% where wave C equals A is 45,039, well below 45,283. That's where this level is. And so it comes in below. If it finished and we started to turn lower, then it's pretty much going to be a flat, right? It'll be an A, B, C flat. We'll probably come down a little bit below there, which is fine. It should. I'll be looking for wave C to break the low of wave A, and I believe it will. If it only gets there, it should. But if it kind of continues to come up and breaks through that, which it also could, right? Remember what I just said in the cash, if the Dow perks up and gets some strong upside, and we've seen the Dow up 5, 6, 700, up 800 in a day. We could have a couple of those, and boy, then we're up here. And so I can't discount it, and I can't say it's not going to happen. So once we get above there, then we're into the irregular B wave territory, and 1.236 is 45,754. And then look what matches there. The 1.618, and it actually should be that's for the C wave. The C wave matches up with the irregular, the first level for the irregular. So I'm thinking to myself, I think that's kind of where we should go. Here's the first one, right in here, and here's the second one. Both are still within the parameters for that B wave. Both still fit in terms of we're not breaking any rules if it turns into an irregular. Or if it doesn't, it's just still a flat, which fits the pattern. So that's what I'm thinking. First, I'm going to be looking here. We're going to see, because I got to get 5 waves out of this C wave. And I'm telling you, we get too many twists and turns along the way. And often, here's what I do. I go down and I look at my line chart. Here you can see it looks like 1, 2, and now we got a 3. With all of those tails that it threw out in these smaller declines. And let me show you. It's like I can go back over to the bar chart, and you can see it. Big, big. And I take it back over and put it on the line chart. It's on a closed basis. This almost just like that was a spike, and it came right back. So it does look like 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're in the 5. Maybe needs a little bit more before that 5 is complete, and then that's still going to be just wave 3. So let me take it back out of there, go back over to the bar chart, and bring it back into alignment. Now you can see. We could here, and I think it could be 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We got to get up there for 5. There it is right there. Not going above that one, but this was a spike. This was just a spike and flipped right down. There's where it opened. There's where it closed. So this was on Friday at 10 a.m. It was a spike. I remember thinking like, whoa, what was that? And it just was so fast. It was like over. And then we're back here. So again, it just behooves us not to consider it. It's right here. Be the 7 o'clock hour. Right there, actually. Spiked, and that's where it finished. So here it spiked, and that's where it came down and finished. So what does it look like from here? It's a whole different story. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we still got a little bit more before we're done. I could be, it's a little bit more difficult with the line chart because I still got to get 5 waves out of it. But I use it for references when I get these spikes like this. And if you're using a candlestick, you're going to see it as well. You can see that spike. And so you really got to come into here. Then we have 1, 2, 1, 2. I think it's 1, 2. And now I think the Dow should actually perk up pretty nicely on Monday and start with the Globex session, which begins tomorrow. This is my thought. Otherwise, we're stuck here with what looks like it could have been an ABC down, an ABC up, and we get a 5 down, and it's another ABC down. And if I have to take it out of there and put it back on the bar chart and take it back up to the daily, and I'm looking like, okay, what is it? A, B, C, B. Okay, you get it? You see that? So what we're looking at, the possibility, it's like A, B, C, B. This B wave's not done. And that could be a possibility too. Doesn't fit as cleanly in the other markets, but here it does. So we've also seen times when 2 out of the 3 or 2 out of the 4, if we include the Russell, are heading in a different directions, where the Dow could be going in one direction, the Russell may follow it, but then again, we got the S&P and the Nasdaq going up. So all things are possible here. So I'm just kind of including it. To be honest with you, would expect that the Dow begins to pick it up to the upside. That's kind of my feeling. And then again, we have these levels. 0.618, 44,601. I'm just expecting it to be some resistance, not necessarily a finishing resistance level. I think those are up here. There's that first one, and here is the second one. So that's the story on the Dow. And just checking on moving averages, the moving averages on the hourly, very confused. They're not clear yet. Right? There's the 200, there's the 78, there's the 30 just getting ready, and they're just crossing the 78. They've not crossed here. So this kind of remains in a weaker position. That also could cause the swing lower, and you get an ABC down and put that B wave down here. Right? This would be A, this would be B, get a C wave down, put this B down there. So you'd have to drop it a degree to what we're going on. So this would be a sub-sub minuet wave A, sub-sub minuet wave B, sub-sub minuet wave C. And that could bring us back down here, below here. And then we put a B on it, and then we go again to put in a C wave. And then different markers I have to tell you right away because this is going on that completed wave B. And if we're moving them lower, it could tell us something different. So secondary, that's what I kind of could look for. But I think first up, I am looking for something that is going to be more beneficial to the upside. All right, that's going to be it. Our next update will be next week.